What's a harmless / non-serious secret you've kept forever?
Story 1. My mom was a crystal addict, so my siblings and I grew up with very little. Normally, she would pull her head out of her butt long enough around the holiday season to sign up with a church or charity to get us a food box and some presents. However, by the time I was 11, she was so far gone, we could go weeks without seeing her leave her room or her be completely gone from the house. I entered a drawing contest at my school around this time. I won a $100 gift certificate to our local mall. One day, after making sure my siblings made it to school, I played hooky and walked to the mall about 3.5 miles. I bought my siblings some presents, almost forgot to get myself something, and ended up buying some discounted body wash. Then had them wrapped there at the mall before trekking home. I hid the presents in the crawl space till the 24th. I was right, our mom did nothing. When my siblings were distracted by a movie, I snuck out and put the box of presents on the front porch before knocking and running away. I snuck back in the back door by the bathroom and heard my siblings yelling, "Someone left a box on the porch that says Merry Christmas." I had also spent the last week before Christmas break going door to door asking for canned food donations, saying it was for a food drive at my church. I didn't have a church. So that we didn't spend the whole winter break hungry. I'm so glad all 4 of us made it out of our childhood and not one of us took the same path as the woman who birthed us. Crap, man, this hits close to home. Drugs do things to people that no child should ever have to see. I was lucky to be the ignorant third child asking why Dad had to talk with me before he left forever. My mom was shocked. I knew she and my great-grandpa kicked him, but I didn't understand till much later he was kicked out because of the drugs, and me telling my Gramps, "Can you keep my birthday money till we get to the store? If Mom keeps it, Dad takes and buys his funny stuff, but I really want something this time." Stories like this are this weird emotional mix because it's really, really sweet that this person was able to do that for their siblings, to give them a little bit of joy around the holiday season, but it is also unbelievably heartbreaking to hear about an 11-year-old having to do this to make sure that these kids didn't go without. And I'm also extremely happy to hear that all 4 of them made it out of that childhood. I hope that they're all doing okay. And I hope for any of the rest of you out there, I just genuinely hope that you don't have to go through something like this. Story 2. I used to live in a dorm hall when I was an undergrad. There was this one guy in the dorms who had a mat outside his door. I always thought it was a little weird because, 1, you had to walk a long way through carpet to get to the door, so your shoes would surely be mostly clean by that point, and 2, anyone could just simply take it. I kind of just assumed someone would steal it eventually, but after about a month, I noticed it was still there. I obviously wasn't going to steal someone's stuff, but I did want to mess with it, so I simply moved it to the door across the hall. The next day, I saw it had been moved back, so I decided to move it across the hall again. I did this for an entire year. Sometimes they'd give up and leave it at the other door for a week, then I'd just move it back to F with them. I loved the idea that it surely led to some sort of argument between the 2 neighbors because nobody's going to think some guy is just randomly deciding to F with them for no reason. I literally never met either of the people that lived in those rooms. I just kept messing with their mat. I had some special moments with it too. On Christmas, I replaced the mat with a Christmas one and then put the original one back the next day. On Easter, I bought the cheapest, crappiest Easter basket I could find and filled it with granny candies like Werther's and those strawberry candies. Then I hid it under the mat. At one point, I bought a second mat to just sometimes put at both doors, then take the second one away randomly. Eventually, I moved into an apartment and couldn't mess with them anymore. They never got to find out what the F was going on. I mean, as far as pranks go, that's pretty fun. And you did do some cute, quirky, fun stuff where I think if I had had that mat, it would have started to get a little bit irritating. But the moment that you did the Christmas mat and the Easter basket, I would have been like, I don't know who's doing this, but thank you. Thank you for just every day giving me something to look forward to.
Story 3. My mom won a prize from SiriusXM at the beginning of the pandemic that never arrived even after she followed up. She had been so excited to win something for the first time that I finally found a record store with the items she won, paid for them, and arranged with them to use a generic shipping label and include an apology for the delay and congratulations for winning the label. She loves her prize and forgives them for the delay. Damn, I used to work at SiriusXM. I wonder who in the promotions department completely effed this up. A few times, if they were holding contests where you had to be the nth caller, I'd be the one answering the phone, and I was always so super stoked whenever I got the winning caller and gave the news that they won. Best feeling in the world. The person was always completely speechless and blown away that they actually won. I'd hate to know that maybe sometimes these people never actually got what they won. Story 4. First marriage to my last wife. On the day of the wedding, the ring got stolen out of my car. I was freaking out. My two best men went into overdrive and took a picture I had of the ring and went to I don't know how many jewelry stores, explained what had happened, and if they had a ring that was similar. They went to this really great jewelry maker and said, I have something that's really close, give me a bit and I can make it perfect. He worked his butt off and got it done with about an hour to spare, plus he managed to get my window fixed. The three of us are the only ones who know. I ended up using that jewelry maker for any jewelry I needed, and well, I haven't stopped yet. He ended up telling my best men to not worry about the price and for me to come down after the honeymoon to work it out. I did, and he gave it to me at the cost of the materials. He is a great guy. He retired during COVID. That dude got referred customers all day. Story 5. In 2009, my best friend was struggling to pay rent when his TV broke, so I wanted to buy him a 42-inch HD TV for over $1,000. I knew he would never accept me spending that much as a gift. So I took it out of the box and put a few small scratches on the back of it and told him I bought a new TV and that he could have my old one that I didn't use anymore. Well, he's doing way better now financially, but he has no idea I did that, and I will never tell him.
You are one heck of an amazing friend. And yeah, I mean, I know how that would go. Like, if a friend offered to buy me a $1,000 TV when I was worse off, I would have been like, absolutely not. You can't do that. No way, no way. But hey, good on you. You got clever with it and helped someone out. And that's really awesome. And you've, never tried to cash in on that in any way. So yeah, I think more people should be like you.
Story 6. When my brother was 4, he won a stuffed animal from a claw machine, and it was his favorite thing ever. Slept with it every night for weeks. He fell asleep on the couch and was carried to bed, but left his stuffed animal on the floor, and the dog decided to tear it to pieces during the night. I spent $40 trying to win another one and put it under his bed for him to find. After reading this kind of story and different iterations for years, I think the key for parents is to get like 5 of a favorite toy and secretly relocate them like they do for panda parents. That way all of them get equally loved/worn down and a replacement for a lost one doesn't look new. Story 7. As a previous nanny, I've seen many first steps and heard many first words, but I never share that. When I leave, I say something like, I think the little one is so close to walking/talking. It's a special moment parents deserve. Who am I to take that from them? One baby was walking with me for a full 2 weeks before he showed his new trick to his parents. We did that at the daycare I worked at, LOL. I remember specifically one time this kid had been walking all day. His mom came in to pick him up, and my grandmother, who ran the place, sat him down really fast so she wouldn't see. When his mom rounded the corner, he stood up and walked to her, and the look on her face was priceless. She was so excited.
I don't, nor would I want to work with children, of any age. But I would never have thought of something like this, and that's just so sweet. It's just such a small thing, but yeah, it's kind of a big deal for parents getting to see those first steps and those first words. Like, they only have that once, and especially if you only have the one kid, that's like a momentous occasion. You only get to enjoy that one first time, and I've seen some people who are like, it's not such a big deal, whatever. But no, I mean, I get it. I might not have kids, but I do get it.
Story 8. In 1998, I had a friend who was stuck in a very toxic situation at her home. She had an opportunity for a new start across the country in Oregon. She had a Dodge Neon that was hanging on for dear life and decided to pass on the opportunity for fear the car wouldn't make the trip. I told her I had a friend that was a mechanic that owed me a favor and he would give the car a tune-up for free. I didn't really have a friend that was a mechanic. We were both 18 with not much money, but I used all of my savings to pay to have her car made roadworthy for the trip. She's a mother of 4 now with a great job and thriving in Oregon. Story 9. My friend is a major Death Cab for Cutie fan. They came to our city a couple years ago, and I knew she wouldn't be able to afford the tickets to go. She was upbeat about it, but I know she was devastated by it. I bought tickets. 2 days before the show, I told her that the friend I originally planned to take couldn't go, and would she please come with me? There was no other friend. Told her I loved the band and would be sad to miss them. She, of course, accepted and had the time of her life. She's doing much better now, but every couple of Christmases or birthdays, she gets me some Death Cab merchandise because she knows how much I love the band. I can't stand their music. I literally have them blocked on Spotify, but now it's gone too far where I can't tell her. Story 10. My mom is a health nut with probably disordered eating who wouldn't let us have cheese in the house when I was a kid. When I was in my mid-20s, I bought a unit and my dad was helping me fix stuff up, so I provided lunch. I said to him, "Bet you're going to hate going back to work next week and not have any cheese on your sandwiches." It was then he told me his deepest secret. He had been buying blocks of cheese at work for years. I had no idea he was crafty, and my mom still doesn't. Poor dad has been retired for years, though, so not sure on the current cheese consumption status.
Oh, dad and his work cheese. I understand, man. Cheese is great. Oh, now that he's retired, I bet now he's just like, "Well, I'm going down on my daily walk." "Well, okay, honey, but make sure you brush your teeth afterwards. Your breath always smells so funny after the walk." Yeah, it's the plants that are in season. I inhaling a lot of pollen. That's all. Gonna have some Gouda today.
Story 11. Several years ago, I was in a new relationship. In my grogginess in the morning while still in bed, I forgot my boyfriend had slept over the night before, and I just let one rip super loud. Instantly, he is awake. The bed creaks, and I remember he's there and am somewhat mortified until he nearly immediately tells my dog, also in the bed, that he'll take him outside to poop as I pretend to still be asleep. He takes him outside, and later when I'm awake, he tells me about my dog's crazy fart. I let my pup take the fall. Story 12. One day I came home late at night, drunk, and decided to walk my dog. Just when we arrived outside my house, my dog attacked a raccoon hanging around the area. I ended up wrestling my Malamute and freed the raccoon from his jaws. Here's the thing. I was drunk, and the raccoon kind of just stared at me in front of me, and I decided to try and pet the raccoon. I got maybe one pet in before it took a chunk out of my finger. I ran into the house, leaving a trail of blood up to my brother's room for help. A sleepless night in the hospital and 4 consecutive rabies shots later was the result. Everyone asked me what happened, and I just told them how I heroically wrestled my dog to save the raccoon. I got bit in the process. They still don't know the real story. It still gets brought up 10 years later. That's hilarious. Drunk, you definitely thought it was going to be your movie moment. The raccoon would understand that you saved it and allow you to pet it in gratitude. But nope, still a wild animal. Story 13. When I was about 15 or 16, I had a sleepover with about 10 of my friends and my sister. I decided to have some fun with them and pretend to sleep. They recorded it on a cassette tape, and I figured it would just be a fun, harmless prank. Well, nearly 30 years later, they still keep bringing it up. They still don't know that I was faking, and I don't know how to tell them at this point because so much time has passed. That tape is still floating around. I hate it when they bring it up, and they think it's because I'm embarrassed about sleep talking, but the reality is it was just a stupid prank I played when I was a teenager, and I just never in a million years thought it would still be going 3 decades later. I want this to just effing die already, LOL. Nobody knows my secret except for you, random strangers.
What makes this all the tougher is you've let it go this long. If you now try to say, "All right, you know what, everyone? It was just a joke. I was faking it." No one's going to believe you. They're going to be like, "Oh, no, you're just saying that because you're sick of us poking fun at you for it, but we all know that it's real." You'll never, ever convince them. Honestly, I'm not even 100% convinced that it's not real. Part of me thinks that you put it up on the internet just so they could maybe stumble across it and realize that it was fake, just so they stop making fun of you. But maybe it really did happen. You trying to fool the whole internet? I don't think so, pal. You're a sleep talker, and we know it now, too. Everyone, if you see this person, make fun of them for talking in their sleep, I guess. Whoever they are.
Story 14. My best friend streamed on Twitch for 1 year, and I was all of her viewers. She regularly streamed to one viewer, me, so I made multiple accounts and pretended to be a stranger who would talk to us during the stream. I gave them different personalities, different ways of speech, different backgrounds. I would even create Discord chats to make them seem believable. Eventually, she gained a following and I didn't need to anymore, and later she stopped streaming altogether. She still doesn't know. Story 15. I convinced my sister I had entered us both in a blog giveaway. I won a coupon, but she won the grand prize, a $300 gift card to Lane Bryant. My sister was a size 16 and desperately needed new clothes, but would spend money on her baby grandkids and thin adult daughters. This was the only way I could make sure she spent it on herself. It's been 10 years. She doesn't know. Edit. Thank you, kind strangers. I'm glad she doesn't know what this site is, or she'd definitely figure this out. Story 16. Dad, I lied that day in kindergarten when I said I had a tummy ache and needed to go home. I was totally fine. I was just super bored and wanted to spend time with you. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.